Salam, and welcome to the People of Palestine podcast. I'm your host, Saja al-Wishahi. Welcome back to the People of Palestine podcast. About a month ago, I had the pleasure of chatting with Marwa and her mom Zainab over a Zoom phone call. I met Marwa in a Palestinian support group, and she told me that her mom's family had an interesting story. So listen as Zainab tells me the story of the Yasin family. Auntie, what town does your family hail from in Palestine?
Town called Dayr Tarif, and it's near the airport, Ben Gurion. Now they call it Ben Gurion Airport. Mm-hmm. It's in that suburbs. So we were forced to leave in 48. Okay. My family from the village, all the village actually. Mm-hmm. On the thing that they're gonna come back after 2 weeks. So they could protect them. There is no war. They're not going to be in the war themselves. So the Arab League is going to come in and defend them. And so they could come after two weeks. And after 2 weeks, 75 years.
Wow. So where did
So they left with nothing.
Yeah, they left with
nothing.
nothing.
They left nothing. They left everything there.
And where did they go to at that point?
It's like a road of villages. It's from there to a town called Dayr
Mm-hmm.
It's in Ramallah suburbs too.
Okay.
So they lived there for how many years? Maybe 7 years, 8 years. Because I remember I was born in Dayr I wasn't born in Dayr Tarif itself. I was born in the camp in a tent too. And we lived for a while. Then my father started working and went to Ramallah itself and started his career there. And he took us out from the Ammar to Ramallah, one of the Ramallah's camps. And it was called Al-Amari, still there. This camp's still there.
Mm-hmm. What did your father do at the time for work?
He's a merchant, buying things and selling them again.
Mm-hmm.
So, a businessman.
Yeah.
Yes, businessman, selling merchants, they call them. So he rent his shop in downtown Ramallah.
Mm-hmm.
He worked there, built it from zero.
Wow.
As he told me, I started from zero because they didn't bring anything from them, with them from Dayr Tarif.
Right.
So from there, it just like 67 happens, and everybody wants to move from the war area because now it's a war and the West Bank too. So we were just traveling, going to Jordan, and in the middle of the way, he stopped, and he started thinking. He said, "You know what? 48. I came here with nothing. I started from zero. And now I'm going to Jordan to start from zero again? I'm not going to do it. From here, we're going back. I'm going to go to Ramallah again and die in Ramallah."
Wow.
And that was his decision, I think, and he done it. He passed away in Ramallah.
So still on Palestinian land.
Yeah, it's still Palestinian land. It's not his, it's not ours, it's not their territory, but it's in Al-Bira or Ramallah, those towns, they are by each other on the road to Jerusalem, this land. And still my sister lives there in the camp.
So how many siblings do you have?
I have 2 brothers and 4 sisters.
And at the time, did your brothers...
One of them
work with your dad at the time?
They were so young. Some of them, they were not born yet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
One brother and sister came out from Palestine. Mm-hmm. They were born there. Okay. Now my sister, she was, I think, maybe she was 10 years old or something like that. No, she's very old. She cannot walk. She still lives in Amari camp. I went to visit her this year, this summer. I went there and I saw her. The others, all of us, and my brother, I think when we moved to Ramallah, he was 2 years old or something like this. Yani. He was very young too. No, he was born 44. They don't know the exact. Yeah. Let's say 6 years. He was 6 years when we moved to Dayr Ammar.
Yeah, it's hard to, because everything was lost, all the documents and stuff were lost in the move. I'm sure it's really hard to.
Yeah,
they don't know.
They will tell you, just.
Yeah.
So with the 48, he was very newborn. I remember they told me that maybe he was newborn or. Yani, he was very young at that time.
Yeah. Wow.
So I wasn't with them. I was not with them. I was not born yet. So they have only my two older sisters, actually. One of them passed away already. So 2 sisters and 1 brother when they moved from, and my grandparents too. They moved from Tarif at that time.
Yeah, so then how did you end up in the United States? What was that journey like for you?
Okay, I finished my education as a teacher there. I was teaching, and a guy came from United States, from another family, and he wants to be married. Of course, I'm at the age of marriage, and we got to be married, and he brought me with him here. I left my family, and I came here.
And then obviously you had kids and all of this. So how did you teach your kids about Palestine? And then Marwa, after your mom, tells us this, like I want to know from your perspective as well, like as her child, what it meant to you, what Palestine meant to you growing up. So how was that dynamic presented in the family setting?
How did I do that? Did I do that? Anything about it? Yeah, you did. Of course you did. Telling the stories. Telling the stories. Take them there too. We used to go there. My father and my mother, they still alive at that time. So, of course, after 4 years of staying in the United States, I went with 2 kids with me. And I stayed there maybe 2 months, came back. Every 4 years I used to go there. And the last Intifada al-Ula, the first Intifada, we decided at that point we want to go and live there. That's it. We settle there and have a business there and stay in Ramallah. I think at that time they witnessed the first Intifada. Marwa was not there. She wasn't born yet. But the other kids, the older one, they lived there. Even one of them, the older one, she got a bullet, rubber bullet on her body. I don't know exactly where.
Oh my gosh.
So everybody came to see her. At that time we were just demonstrating. This is the way I think they learned when we were there too. They lived some of it there. Wow. And we decided since there is no work, my husband decided to stay here. How could I raise 4 kids myself there? Which is, I don't know even how to defend myself if the settlers came at that time. So I decided to come back too. I wish I stayed there. Maybe he was still there or something like that. But raising kids by yourself, it's not easy. They've been born here, and I think it's raising kids is not easy. Especially if you go to, and I'm there, I remember them getting into fight with other kids. I started crying. I couldn't do anything. It's not easy to see how things there, how they deal with that. I have to go and ask and see people how they do it and go with that.
Yeah. It's hard to raise kids alone and then on top of that be in an environment where it's so volatile, like you don't know what's going to happen, and you have to look out for your children at all times. And yourself, so I can only imagine, like
defend them. You have to defend them.
Yeah.
If somebody comes into the house, which is they could come, either army or the settlers, they could come and They do anything they want. You cannot do anything.
Yeah.
You cannot do anything. What you don't have, you're not supposed to have any weapons. You don't know, even if you have weapons, you don't know how to use them. And you just sit there, hopeless. Okay, if they come, what I'm going to do? How am I going to defend myself and my kids with me here?
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It's not. Yeah.
So I decided to come back here.
And then Marwa, you grew up mostly in the States then, right? But you would go visit?
Yeah, I have like a good memory of 2 times I went. Once when I was like 9, and then when I was in high school. Before that, I also went, but I don't have much memory.
She was 1 year old.
Yeah, and I was like 1 and 4. So yes, I grew up in the States. Went to visit Palestine a few times, and I loved going to Palestine. I saw my Sido. There was one time I remember seeing my Sido, my mom's dad. We spent like 2 months there. I'm really sad because our pictures from that time we can't find them. I really hope it's on like some drive on an old laptop and then we can just find it. But anyway, so yeah. It was really special. We stayed at my grandpa's house. It was, so the last 2 times, well, my mom just went recently on her own. Yeah. But before that, it would be like me and her, because I'm the youngest. Mm-hmm. So my mom would take me, and all my other siblings were like grown and like working. Yeah. So it would like be me and my mom would take me along with her, and I would meet all my family, my cousins, my uncles, and that still live there. And it's really special memories for me, like going to Al-Quds, and we would go to Bethlehem, and where else? We went to Khalil. Mm-hmm. And I really like cherish those memories, and yeah.
The thing is, we couldn't go to Tarif itself at that time. We went, I think the first time, I remember going to Dayr Tarif. It's 1967 when the Israeli took over the West Bank too. Mm-hmm. So now we could go. So my father decided we have to go. He wanted to see his land. You know how is it?
Yeah.
My mom, my aunt there. So we went there. It's destroyed. Nothing there. Except the houses still, they could see the stones. They say, oh, this is the stone of so-and-so. And this is the house of so-and-so. This is those stones we know. They know even the stones, which house they belong to. And the trees, oh my God, these trees, you should see them coming into the dirt itself, the soil, and coming and just blessing themselves, their bodies with it. It's kind of, when I saw my mom and my aunt doing that, I said, oh my God. That's something. I think the only time I went there, yes, 1967. And after that, I think they built a town or 2 towns there. Where the Yemenis lives there. The Yemenis, Jewish there in that town. Only the school was left, which is 3 rooms and the cemetery. I don't know now what's happening to it. I'm seeing some pictures, which is the town, I think. I don't know, it's over. Is it over the houses? Or when the area around that town? Dayr Tarif, I think they call it. No, village is there. And yeah, that is what's happened almost. If you go to Dayr Tarif site, you're going to see my picture there, 15 years old.
They have a website.
They have a website for our village.
Amazing.
Yes.
I'll have to check it out.
Tarif, yeah.
So, did you ever, when you visited, did you ever feel scared, or like what was the process? Because I've never been to Palestine. I don't know what the process is like getting in. Is it difficult? I've heard many stories of people getting detained for hours, getting questioned before they're actually let in. Did you ever experience something like this, or was it easy for you to get in?
Okay, for 67, I would say it was easy.
Okay.
Because it's just the beginning of it. They didn't do anything, just open the streets and just go. And as my family, I don't remember they stopped us at any point at that time. See, that's 67. If you want to come after and the airport, oh my God. I remember going into the airport, even in your pocket, the pockets of your clothes, they will check it. Mm-hmm. You stay, of course, long time. Stay there until they will let you go. Yeah. If they let you go, of course. Mm-hmm. And now they're having even checkpoints. Mm-hmm. Where is the most right now? I went last time, which is this September and October. It was between on Yokalandia checkpoint, which is considered like it's like you're going to another state, from one state to another. Mm. So they make it so difficult, maybe 1 hour to cross that point. I couldn't walk after that. It's walking, and we want to go to Jerusalem to pray in the Aqsa. Yeah. And that's much they will. Yes, they would. You have to go through checkpoints. If you don't have papers for that, you cannot go. As Palestinians, you cannot go, except if you have a permission from them. We went. I myself went as American citizen. Mm.
Do you still get? Do you still have a hard time when you go as an American citizen, or do they let you go without any issues?
They let you go, but if you have some people from there, your relatives with you, yeah. And they are Palestinians, either you have to go different ways, both of you, or you go through it, which is, this time I went through it. It's very hard. It's at the end, they have to, support me from both sides, my nephews.
Oh, from the most recent
trip. Yes,
she went. Earlier this year she went.
September and October, between the end of September, beginning of October. Before the October 7, 2 days, I left Palestine.
Wow.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, subhanallah.
I left Thursday. Things happened Saturday.
How has what's happening in Gaza now, how has that affected you?
We cannot sleep from the news. It's hard to, you cannot do anything for them except your dua. And for me, I want to educate my kids more about Palestine, the history of Palestine.
What about you, Marwa?
After what happened, it got me to want to know more. Like, there's that book, 100 Years of War or something, in Palestine that a lot of people were reading. So I got that from the library, and I'm reading it, hoping to brush up on the history and everything. I grew up, even when I grew up, mm-hmm. I was always passionate about it. Growing up, all of my, anytime in a history class, I went to an Islamic school growing up, but then I went to a public high school. But even when I went to public high school, all of my projects, a history project, it would be about Palestine. Anytime I had an opportunity to do some project about it or to educate my classmates, I would do it.
Did you get any backlash for that?
Yeah. No, because nobody knew, nobody really knew much about it. They were just kind of clueless. I don't even know if they were paying attention. Oh, here's my cat. Anyway.
She wants to be in the picture.
So it's I feel like so many people haven't paid attention until October 7th. they just didn't care. Like, it's not their problem. Like, oh, it's something that's happening.
Yeah.
Like, and then it's like people don't know the difference between, like, some people are like, oh, Pakistan and Palestine, they just mix them up. It's so weird.
Yeah,
They're always like weird channels.
It's really interesting, the reactions that you get. I live in Cairo now, so what is it like for you in the States at the moment? Because I know you live in Chicago, so what is it like for you in living in the United States right now as a Palestinian?
Honestly, I feel like I've always been cautious about being Palestinian, and like me personally, I've been like, because we're not in the city, we're like in the suburbs. I remember like 10 years ago, there was like I remember like me and my mom were sharing a car at the time, and I put a bumper sticker on it from a conference that we went to, and it said, "I support Palestinian rights." And I'm like, this is a nice bumper sticker. It's, I support Palestinian human rights, right? But then I was like, well, but then I had like some family members like, well, mom is already wearing a hijab. She already has a target on her back just for wearing a hijab, and now she's gonna be driving around with this on the car. Like, let's not do that.
Yeah.
Like, there's always that in the back of the mind. You gotta be careful. Yeah, like the fear.
She's like, yeah, maybe that's the fear they put in us. I think it's very, very bad problem. I think fearing.
Yeah.
So going back to something reminded me of the pictures that's coming from Gaza right now. You know how as the rain comes and even the tents go. When I was born, my mother and father told me I was born in a tent.
Wow.
And it's happened same thing like that. Rain too much with a very high wind, speed wind. It took the tent away from the ground even. We didn't have anything to protect us at that time. I was a baby. So what they were doing, or what they done, they started looking for caves. Where are they going to go to be protected from that?
Yeah.
Very harsh winter at that time. So they found a cave. They thought they were all the only ones there. So they discovered when they went in, another 3 families that are inside.
Wow.
Because you cannot look at them without wind and the water, the rainwater coming in. In our case, in my family case, they went to looking for a cave in the mountain there. But I think the Gazans, they don't have that luxury, the caves. They didn't go there. Or if they go, how many people they were in the cave?
Yeah. And what year
And
was this?
It's around 1952 I was born.
Okay.
So 40 years after the Nakba, I was born. So it would be, I was, I think, maybe 6 months old or something like that at that time.
Wow. And then your family was still in the camps after that, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Up until now, one of my sisters, she's still living in a camp, a Mari camp in Ramallah. I went to slept 2 nights there with her.
So when you say camp, yani it's not, what is it? It's not tents, right? It's actual homes.
No.
Yeah.
It's 75 years.
Yeah.
They work, they have money, they build themselves. So instead of the tents, and I remember when we moved from Dayr Ammar as the first camp to the second one, before that, Dad just built us one room. He had the money to build us one room, all of us. So we went into one room with, that metal roof.
Yeah.
That every drop of the rain, you could hear it.
Yeah.
And one room is everything for you. No bathrooms, of course. The one bathroom was like for the whole neighborhood, which is the United Nations done it for us.
Yeah.
No running waters. No, we have to go to a special place to bring on our heads, carrying the water to our homes at that time. And yes, there. And I lived there all my life until I was married. Then I came here.
Wow.
So he built another. After that, he built another two rooms for us. Because he had the money. When you have the money, you build. If you don't have, how you can do it?
Yeah. So so your family was a family of 6 or 7 people?
At 52, we were me and my brother, my grandparents, 4, and my parents. 7. Yeah, 7. I think we were 7.
7 people.
Parents, grandparents, and we were 4. 4 kids there. And 8 people, I think. We were 8. Yeah. I still have a picture of that house, that room. We had a picture in front of it with mom, dad, and some of the neighbors too. Mashallah, because they don't have the money, some of them, to go out and buy land and build there or renting out of the camp, they build like 2nd floor and 3rd floor and so on.
Yeah.
So if you go right now, narrow streets, but high buildings. So cars, usually there's 2 streets in the camp that cars could go, and one way, or one car could go through it. Others, you just walking through them.
Wow.
So I went my last visit, stayed with my sister. Alhamdulillah, her kids, right now, some of them, they have the money. Alhamdulillah, they have their own businesses, and they are living outside of the camp.
Yeah.
My sister, she said, no, I don't want to stay here.
Wow.
She's staying in the camp. They have like a shop in front of their small house, or let's say apartment, or anyway, one of her daughters have a salon, hair salon. So people around her, they come and do their hair there, and they are surviving. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So towards the end of our conversation, my mom actually came home, and Zainab requested to meet my mom. So I want you to listen to them as they meet for the first time via Zoom. And even if you don't speak Arabic, you can hear how welcoming they are to each other, which is just another example of how welcoming Palestinians are.
السلام عليكم
وعليكم السلام.
السلام عليكم.
أهلين وعليكم
كيف
السلام.
حالك؟
والله الحمد لله بسلامتك. كيفك أنت؟
الحمد لله، الله يسعدك يا رب ويرضى عليك. الحمد لله.
الله
الحمد
يسلمك
لله.
يا رب. الله
ما
يسلمك.
شاء الله عنكم.
فرصة سعيدة.
يزن، حضرتك عشتي في فلسطين ولا لا؟
عشت في فلسطين لكان عمري 9 سنين. عشت في رام الله أولا، وبعدين في بيت حنينة. وطبعا كان عندي أهلي كانوا في القدس، في دير دبوان، سلوان.
As their conversation went on and they were exchanging the different villages that they had lived in, it turns out that Marwa's mom and my mom actually attended the same school in Ramallah. It was called Madrasat Ali, or the Ali school. And that blew my mind, because after all these years, we are Palestinians in the diaspora, and somehow we're still able to connect with one another and talk about the villages that we lived in, the schools that we attended, and still make those connections. And that is such a blessing, especially the fact that we are in the midst of a genocide right now. These interactions will probably become rarer as time goes on, and I think it's so important for us to preserve our stories and exchange them with one another and reminisce on the amazing things that we cherish from Palestine. And so listening to their conversation really warmed my heart. It was so nice to talk to both of you. Thank you for sharing your story with me.
Here.
And yeah,
Same here,
inshallah,
Habibti.
inshallah, I hope all of us end up
Anytime.
in Palestine together, enjoying life and prospering and thriving. Ya Rab,
Inshallah.
inshallah.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
و
انت اي question يعني اي سؤال انت عايزه if you want to know about, just send me a message or talk to Marwa or something and I'll be happy to answer it if I can.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it, guys. That is the story of the Yasin family. Thank you again to Zainab and Marwa for taking the time to tell us their family story. If you resonate with our stories and want to become friends with a Palestinian, I highly encourage you to visit our website, www.thepeopleofpalestine.com, and sign up for our Olive Branch program. Once you sign up, you'll be paired with a Palestinian pen pal. It's just our way of extending an olive branch to you and welcoming you into our community. Don't forget to follow us on social media at The People of Pali on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to our podcast. Until next time, salam.